If you've used Heart of Inmost Light before, you know the exotic is pretty good. But with Arc I think it's even better, and I'm going to show you why. So with Solar Void or even Arc, there's usually a point where you're either waiting for an ability to charge up, or you're trying to set up when you use a specific ability to get what you want. With Arc, all you need to do is focus on your melee, and then everything else just works well with it. The reason for this is because of the returning perk called Knockout, which says critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with Arc energy. What this does is basically turns all your melees into the old school melee ability. So let's go through the subclass setup. For Super, I prefer Thunder Crash because of its damage output. I'm going to be using the Thruster Dodge because I've never really been a fan of stopping to put down a barricade to be able to proc the synergy between my abilities. For the melee, I'm going to be using Seismic Strike for the same reason why I'm using that particular class ability. I don't want to stop to charge up the melee for the Thunderclap, even though it actually gives you more damage. The time that it takes for me to stop and output that, I just don't want to wait for it. I want to keep things moving. Arc 3.0 is basically go fast, and stopping to do that melee is just not it for me. For the grenade, I'm going to be using the Arc Bolt grenade, and hear me out on this one. The reason for this is most of the grenades that are available to Arc this season usually either hurt you or can blind you. Since I'm going to be running around and going crazy all the time, I don't want anything to make me kill myself. So the Arc Bolt is the safest option with a really good base cooldown as well, so I always have it available. Moving on to the aspects, we've got the Juggernaut, which basically allows me to stay a little bit more safe while I'm running around doing my thing. It states that with full class ability energy and after sprinting for a short time, you gain a frontal shield that blocks incoming damage. When the frontal shield breaks, your class ability energy is depleted. Because for this build we're going to be running max resilience, we're going to guarantee that we're always going to have this class ability always charged. And since we're using Heart of Inmost Light, with the fact that we're spamming our melees and our grenades, this would always be available to us, or at least it should be, and if you ever lose it, you should be able to get it back really quickly. Next up is Knockout. This allows you to keep a form of your charged melee that you could use until the melee ability that you've chosen is active again. Also, in addition to what we talked about before, defeating targets with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified, which means you're going fast and it allows you to heal yourself if you're caught in a pinch. So for fragments, we're going to be using Spark of Shock. Your Arc Grenade jolts targets. So basically, while I'm running around, as soon as I throw my grenade, I'm able to jolt stuff. If you don't know what jolt does, it's like Trinity Ghoul. Whenever you hit an enemy that's jolted, it releases a spark of energy to things that are around it. So while I'm running in the middle of all these enemies, anything I do damage to is just going to continue to spread that arc damage to the close by targets. Whenever we do stop and we don't have that Juggernaut shield, we're going to use Spark of Resistance, which states while surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage. Basically, it just allows me to stay alive when I'm in the middle of all the chaos. And the last fragment is Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerates more quickly. So if there's any point where you're about to die and you need that melee energy back, which is going to proc health regeneration for yourself, while you're critically wounded, you're able to recharge your melee really quickly. So before we get into the mods, the goal of this build is melee everything. Use your grenade to jolt some things, and whenever you have your super, use it to kill the big guy. To make that happen, we're going to start with Melee Well Maker. Every time we get a melee kill, it's going to spawn an elemental well. We're going to use this well for two things: Well of Aeons and Font of Wisdom. Well of Aeons increases your next melee damage after you pick up an arc well, while Font of Wisdom gives you increased super recharge rate. We're also going to turn this well into Charge with Light by using Elemental Charge, which brings us to our last mod called Heavy Handed, which refunds half of your melee energy if you're charged with light and only consumes one stack of charge with light. So altogether, you're getting your melee and your super really quickly, and your melee is always going to do more damage as far as you keep picking up the elemental wells. To add to the super recharge, I also use hands-on the helmet, which basically allows you to gain bonus super energy on melee kills, and that mod just helps to complete the build a little bit better. For stat distribution, I would say run 100 resilience. Your Juggernaut shield depends on it, and it also helps for survivability even if that juggernaut shield is not up. Next to that, I would say run as high discipline as you can, just to make sure that you're able to get that grenade to cause things to jolt, to keep you empowered from the Heart of Inmost Light going as much as possible. So I know we didn't really discuss how the Heart of Inmost Light works, but once you use one ability, it makes the other abilities charge faster and do more damage. So by having a high resilience and high discipline, and then focusing on getting our melee back through our mods, all those 3 abilities should be coming back as quickly as possible. We don't really need to focus much on intellect, because Font of Wisdom is going to help us increase that super recharge rate, and we also have the hands-on mod to help with that as well. So this is pretty much covering the bases of resilience, recovery, discipline, strength, and intellect. Plus, we've got amplified that's basically gonna make us zoom. So I'm gonna keep on bringing out build guide videos like this to help you guys figure out what mods you could best use with your favorite exotics. If you guys have any exotics you want me to find out the mods for or to help you craft, you can either come by the streams or leave it in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you on what I've come up with whenever I do come up with it. The new season has been fun so far, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Or Lusonya, you have a point.